Hello Gemini, welcome to your reading. My name is Maria and this is a reading for you. If you have any kind of Gemini in your chart, it could be in a big placement or something that you identify with, and or if you're a cross watcher or something else drew you here, then this video is for you. So it's on the table we have a story that is addressing core wound of yours that you've been dealing with for a while, and it also comes out as dressing the wound, so meaning trying to heal it, trying to, or that's what you've been doing. You've been healing yourself or trying to heal yourself. This card, the Six of Emotions, which is the Six of Cups in the traditional deck, is a sort of a nostalgia card. So it has to do with healing something that happened maybe in your childhood. Maybe it's a generational wound, or it has to do with a very deep part of your personality in terms of how you see yourself and what you think you're capable of, or who you allow yourself to be. And it comes out as sort of a hole in your stomach, as something that is centered in your torso, solar plexus, heart chakra. It could be also above or below, but those are the ones that are speaking the most here to me. And something that also has to do with maybe your childhood was triggered at that point, or somehow brings you back to it. So you've been you have just been thrown into this process, or you might have been in it for a while. Either way, it's forcing you to look at some things that might not be super comfortable. This woman certainly looks kind of sad, and also it's like you're longing to be out of that situation. I for the first time ever actually see this other person, which seems to be sort of what you're dreaming about. You're dreaming about being sort of once removed, but not being in the middle of it and feeling it as much as you do right now. But maybe you'd probably rather see a movie about it than experience it in your own life, or you're sort of wishing yourself a way out of your situation, or you have been for a while because it hasn't been comfortable, and you've been asked to look at some things that from a long time ago that you didn't necessarily think you were going to revisit, and they've been stirred up. So what happens in this process is quite a surprising thing, because you think that you've been dealing with a core wound, and that you've been sort of healing this little girl or boy or whatever it is that you were or feel that you have inside of you that's not healed. Excuse me, it's not about genders, it's never about genders. But you then come out with the bear, looking to me sort of like it's sort of like the bear is stepping out of the womb, and it's your womb. So you've been doing some healing work and dealing with some old emotions, and you actually thought that was what you were doing. You were healing this little girl or this little boy, this inner child, but and you kind of were, but really what you were doing is you were giving birth to a brown bear. It's almost like this was distracting you. You were doing important work, you were doing important healing work, but you thought this was the thing. All the while you were actually creating something enormous, incredible, giving birth to an enormous new creature, or a new part of yourself, rebirthing yourself in a way, but not as a man or a woman or anything in between, but sort of 1.5 of that, like, or 2, something enormous. Like if you met a brown bear, it would be like, it's so big, it's so powerful, it's so enormous. And to imagine somebody, it's still not about genders. As a man, you could still be giving birth to this creature that is you, or that is something outside of you. But the whole point, I know this sounds a little cryptic, but I have to sort of describe it with the imagery, because maybe it means something else to you than it does to me. But the main point is that you thought you were doing some healing work, but you were actually doing some incredible creational work and birthing something much bigger than you could have ever imagined. That's actually what's been going on. That is actually what is going on. And it's taken a while, because here's the bear sort of coming out of hibernation, or coming out of the womb, or just sort of stepping out, this creature, this thing that you have created with your power and creativity, and this healing work that you've been doing is stepping out, and is most likely very surprising to yourself. Because you thought you were fixing something, and then you would sort of move on with your life if possible, as this person. But really, this is coming out of you. And so, if you compare this to thinking that you were sort of fixing a child, and then this enormous creature comes out, you'll be quite astounded. So if this is a creational process, or if you're creating something outside of you, in the real world, in the 3D world, you might have been wondering, why is this taking so long? Why is it so complicated? Or why is it so painful? Or something about it was sort of a hold up. Well, because what you're creating is much bigger than what you thought it was gonna be. But it's like you only see that at the last minute, in actually at what, as it steps out of you, you realize the magnitude of it, and how powerful it is, like more powerful than man, than woman, than human. It's and then, but it's coming out incredibly peaceful with the dawn, and sort of like a spring experience. When the I'm not sure when the bears come out. We don't have bears in Denmark. Maybe there's a Canadian online who can tell me, but I'm assuming it's in the spring. So maybe if there's a timing issue here, that might be sort of an answer for you about it. Either way, this enormous, gorgeous, great, strong creature is coming out of you, and it's gonna make you realize what has been going on, so to speak. It's because you were here and felt sort of stagnated and sad, even though you're trying to do this work. Now you're realizing, oh, okay, I was actually forming a brown bear, and fully formed, all grown up. And also, it could have been sort of a metaphorical winter for you. It could also have been a real winter, but I mean, yes, you get it. So it's sparking an understanding of yourself, your life, and certainly this last period of your life, and it frees you. It's like you're free to go. You did the work. You fully formed the adult bear. Not only healing your inner child, but creating this creature. And as you realize that you're the mother of bears, so to speak, others come to meet you. I've never really noticed that about this card before. The understanding card is usually, to me, about this bird being freed. You are, but not only are you being freed, it's like your flock is coming directly to you, like, oh, here you are, oh my God, it's the mother of bears. Because this is visible to all. And so your tribe will find you. And it's gonna spark a new period of time in your life, with a lot of pleasure and success. So this card comes out as watery, scent, pleasure, music, feeling good in the body. You might not have been feeling good in the body because this comes out quite a lot as if a pain was in your body and that was the way you had to heal yourself. This comes out, of course, as like a spa or a hot tub, or just feeling good again, getting to relax, getting to chill, get to be in your own waters, and enjoying that. So it's you're finishing off this enormous work that you've been doing, that now you realize, oh, this is why I was tired. This was why it took so long, because it was a much bigger work than I knew. And for some reason, it was being kept from you, what you were doing. Not entirely sure why, but I feel like it might be sort of an issue about your self-image. Because you might not have known you had this amount of greatness in you. So if somebody had told you, hey, you're gonna give birth to a brown bear, you might have gotten sort of anxiety, or stopped the process halfway because you thought you couldn't do it. It's something like that, because it's as if spirit believed more in you than you believed in yourself. But either way, you're gonna get to this release, and also an incredible amount of success that follows this birth of the brown bear, because this dragon, of course, is on the top of the mountain, having gotten the treasure. The pearl is in its mouth, and excuse me, and the sun has now risen a little higher. So maybe we're going from spring to summer. I mean, and this could all be metaphorical, because, which I feel like it is, but it could also be in actual fact. But I mean, this success is gonna last more than a summer. That's what I want to say. It might happen in the summer, but it's like the summer in your life, like it's a longer period. So, and this also, you coming out as a dragon, is a very powerful creature as well. Is a very it's an ancient super animal, right? It's because, it can fly and fry and all of it. So it's almost like the brown bear is what let's say what the muggles can see. The magicians will know that you're this. They'll know that the brown bear is code for dragon, that this is really what you are, that your most ancient self has come online, and it's this powerful. Yeah. So then there's this message that I'm hoping I will pull in as we speak, because it's still a little foggy to me. But it's like you're in a difficult no, not choice, but okay, I think these are the two twins within you that are sort of pulling in each their direction, and not completely yet at the same level in order for you to do the ascension. So they come out as the page of materials and the page of inspiration, being sort of your two twins, your two inner sides. This could also be you and another person. If it is, then understand it like that. I'm gonna read it like it's you, because that's mostly how it comes out to me. So it's like you have one side of you, one twin, or one part of you, or one path available to you, where you sort of you're in direct communion with spirit, and you get a lot of information, insights, wisdom, downloads. Here's spirit speaking directly to you, and you just sort of receiving all of this incredible insight, maybe through meditation or some other practice that you have where wisdom is being bestowed upon you. And that comes out with the chameleon. So it's like that knowledge that you're receiving, ancient, important truth knowledge, is you're not showing it to anybody. You're keeping it sort of invisible. You're keeping it out of sight. But it doesn't seem to me like you, because you want to. It's not like you want to, but that's sort of what is happening. This comes in, and you might feel sort of unable to communicate it, because this might be arriving in sort of a star language that only you speak, and it's getting lost a little bit in translation. You don't know how. If you were to, you understand it, but if you were to say, to communicate this to the world, to others, you wouldn't completely know how. So it's like you're receiving all of this, but you're sort of silent, or it's in a way invisible to the world. Although I think it's not as such. The world can see that you're in touch with something very important, but they don't get the actual messages, because only you get them, and you don't know how to translate them. And this other side of you, or the other person, is more creational, is more creative. This comes out very much as creative. Sort of reminds me of maybe like a teenager who likes to play around with colors, or do graffiti or collages, or just sort of that very creative flow. And that one comes out with bee. So this is a worker bee. It's two things. First, it's a worker bee, so it's somebody who sort of works for it. This other side was just receiving it. This one creates and works for it, and is also sort of a superhero character, because as we all know, the bee is a very important creature on this planet, and is keeping actually everybody alive. So it's both. It's very creational. It's also very sort of saving the world. Dun, dun, dun. So this one has the creativity, has the wish to save the world, like wants to do the work, da da da. And then this other one is actually receiving all of the information, but doesn't really know how to translate it. And between these two, a chasm. An inability to sort of make them work together, not knowing which side to be on, not knowing how to create a communion out of these two sides of yourself, or you and another. This one having the knowledge of something incredible and important. This one in every way having the motivation to bring it to the world and to be creational, manifest, but doesn't have the knowledge, because this one has the knowledge. So it's like this conversation, or this tug, or this pull, or maybe this confusion is playing out in your life, because of course you want these two to come together. That would be completely amazing. It's like, this would change the world if it could go together. If somehow maybe this one could get in touch with this one, right? The flower and bee. If they could sort of get together, like that would be the utmost flowering. It would be sort of the miracle in a way. So the reading I think might be this is how I understand it, trying to answer how you can make these two come together. How can you make the download into something where you also spread it, like where you get the news out, where you inform the world of what you've been learning in your sacred language, and you do come out with the world cosmos. tell me that for sure this is what spirit would like you to do, would like you to sort of become the world in a way, become the one who sort of downloads all of this and spreads it. And this card, just because of sort of the cleanliness of it and the sort of the angel wings, is speaking about intentions. So in order for these two to come together, instead of sort of creating these things that are sort of maybe a little adolescent, it doesn't come out in any way condescending. It's just not the same as a pure download from God, right? And instead of this download from God being told to nobody, but creating this communion, you need to make sure that your intentions are 100% clear and aligned. So you need to know why you want to create, why you want to speak, why you want to communicate, you to be very, very pure, aligned, and in everybody's best interest. And so that's the important, I think the most important part of it is work on getting to know your intentions, and maybe write them down, because then it becomes very clear, and maybe that's really all it takes. And then, you know, just here at the end, there's sort of a caution in a way. It's talking about your that part of you that wants to be small, that smallness that was maybe not supposed to be told, that you were actually creating a brown bear, that you were just sort of healing a little small thing, because that part of you that hasn't some sort of a vested interest in keeping you small needs to be sort of worked around by spirit. It's like spirit is like, oh, look what I'm doing with this hand, and then sort of creating your greatness with the other hand, because some part of you hasn't really gotten the memo that you're actually a much bigger sort of entity spiritually than what you thought or what you've learned. So the fly comes out talking about sort of the smallness, and that smallness coming in the shape of sort of mind clutter or head trips, and isolating yourself, and sorrow, you know, being very focused on what is lost. And these are sort of your tripping points. These three would be the things that, if you let them seduce you, if you let them take up a lot of your time or energy or focus, it will pull you out of the purity you need to, you know, to create this amazing thing that you're gonna create, to communicate this amazingness that you're gonna communicate, that's gonna be, you know, important globally, like for everybody. So it's sort of the fly. What could make you vulnerable would be if you fell into any of these three traps. Like, that's really, and they're sort of, it's almost like they all speak a little bit about fear. And so these are sort of your fears, and if you could sort of be prayer or whatever it is that sort of that keeps you out of that smallness, or just mindful awareness, or whatever your healing modality, or your sort of the way you work with your, primarily I think your mind, whatever it is that you can do to stay out of your smallness will really make it possible for you to push out this creation that is going to be really, really big. And so it actually came out very much like the web. So whatever you're doing, I mean, whatever we are doing in this world at this point has to do with the World Wide Web, right? Somehow it has to get on there, otherwise it's like it's not existing. But so this is like, this would get caught in the web, and it would sort of get stuck in the web if you came out with sort of too much focus on loss, or too much up in your head, or being sort of isolating yourselves from the ones who can help you. If let's say if these are 3 sort of bad mental habits, these are the things that would get you stuck in the web. But without them, you're free to go. Like that, it's open, and you've already created the thing. So you know, it's spirit is fully backing you to go. Yes. So this was, I think this was the message. This was the reading, and I hope it made sense to you. I think it's really glorious, and clearly you're on your way to do something amazing. Yeah. So thank you for being here, Gemini, and thank you for joining me. If you liked it, leave me a like or a comment or a subscription, and come back again soon. See you soon again. Bye, Gemini.